hope everybody are doing great today. Yes, I'm back. So we're just gonna start doing another baking today. So we're going to make a simple chocolate cake because somebody's celebrating a birthday. So keep watching as I show you how to do a simple birthday chocolate cake. Okay, guys? First thing first is to spray your baking pan. So you will need 9x2 baking pan for this, and then put the parchment paper on the top. So you can either use the melted butter or any oil that you have there and brush it on your baking pan. So then set it aside so at least it's ready whenever the butters are ready to be poured. Alright, guys? So once you're done with your baking pan, you can set it aside. So let's go with the dry ingredients. So for this cake, you will need 2 cups of sugar. You will need 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. You will need 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. You will need 1 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Same thing with the baking soda, 1 1/2 teaspoon, and a half teaspoon of salt. Okay. Now you can start mixing all the dry ingredients together and incorporate it properly. So there's no right or wrong on this. You just have to mix it using your spatula and make sure they're all properly incorporated, and your dry ingredients will be done. So you can just set it aside, and we're just going to work on the wet ingredients afterwards. So make sure your dry ingredients are properly incorporated, okay? Also, I forgot to mention that you have to sip all your all-purpose flour and also the cocoa powder, okay? Just to make sure there's no clumps in it. And now we're going to do the wet ingredients, okay? You will need 2 large eggs. You will also be needing 1 cup of milk, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and you will need 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. You can use canola, sunflower oil, or even olive oil. You will also be needing 1 cup of water. However, I'm using a 1 cup of coffee for this one. Alright, so that's gonna be my wet ingredients for this recipe. So you start whizzing your cake, your egg first, and then incorporate all the wet ingredients. Alright, continue whizzing your egg with the rest of the other liquid, your wet ingredients, and afterward we can start combining the dry and the wet. So by using your spatula, you can start putting your wet ingredients to your dry ingredients. Make sure you combine them properly. So scoop it up to the bottom of the bowl so you can get all the flour properly incorporated with the wet ingredients. Alright, so you will notice here that the butter is look like soupy and so liquidy because you want your cake to look like a very moist chocolate cake. So I think that's basically why there are more liquid on this butter. Alright, so just make sure you continue mixing it together, okay? Continue mixing it and make sure that everything is properly combined. And so whenever you're ready, after you mix it, you can start pouring it to your baking pan, okay? So that's how easy is this process. So now I pour it already in a baking pan. So we will bake it for 350 degrees with 28 minutes to 32 minutes, okay? Okay, guys, we will check it then and then cool the cake afterwards, alright? For the frosting, you will need a scale to measure and to weigh your chocolate butter for the frosting. You will also be needing 2 cups of icing sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So first thing first is to weigh your chocolate. So you will be needing 6 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, or like 180 grams. But I don't have a semi-sweet chocolate. I have here the dark chocolate. So first thing is to weigh your chocolate. So we're just gonna cut it and weigh it first. And then after we weigh it, we're just gonna melt it in the boiler and then cool it down. And then we also have to measure our butter. So you will need, you can use unsalted butter or salted butter. It doesn't matter. You will need 1 cup of salted butter. But when you weigh it, you will need probably 226 grams of butter for this recipe. Okay, so let's start weighing the chocolate first for 180 grams, and then we'll melt it. Alright. thing is to melt your chocolate in a double broiler. So as you can see here, I put it in the stove. So stir it a little bit once in a while, so at least it can easily be melted. So once all the chocolate are smooth and melted, you can just set aside and cool it, and then we'll work on the butter next. All right. So now let's work into the butter. So for the butter, I'm using an unsalted butter. So we will weigh it, and we will need 226 grams of butter. So make sure your butter is a room temperature butter. So once you beat it, it's gonna be it's gonna be creamy. So you will also need 2 cups of icing sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then make sure your melted chocolate is also already been cooled. So before you mix them all together. So also for the icing sugar, make sure you have to sip it so there's no clumps on it. So first thing is to beat your butter. So once it becomes creamy, you can start putting the icing sugar, but sip it. Okay, it's important that you sip it, and then you slowly mix them together using your spatula before you put the electric mixer, because otherwise you're gonna be powder with a lot of icing sugar in the paste, so don't do that. So mix it first with your spatula before you use the hand mixer. Okay, so now we're ready to put the electric mixer with the butter. So mix it slowly first into a lower beat it in a lower, and then slowly beat that until it's becoming floppy and creamy and smooth. Then afterward you can incorporate the chocolate. So slowly you can put the chocolate and continue beating it for 2 to 3 minutes until they're all incorporated and mixed and combined properly. You will see that the texture of your frosting is really creamy and fluffy, so that you know that's ready to be used. Okay. Okay, now is the fun part. This is the frosting. This is my first time to use a buttercream frosting, and with a melted chocolate as well. So normally I use the whipping cream with the cream cheese, but this is the buttercream, and it's different because though it tastes good, I must say it really tastes good. So yeah, I think this is gonna harden so quickly once I put in the fridge. Not like the cream, whipping cream. There's a process to make it more stiff, but this one is different, and I'm so excited for this cake. So all of those imperfections on this cake will be covered later on, so don't worry about it. So just spread it properly, or the way you like it. Spread it the way you like it. Okay, don't worry if your cake doesn't look like perfect, but once you put all the frosting and you put the second layers and cover it with the frosting, it's gonna come along all together. So it will look good. So don't worry too much about the frosting. It's the easiest way to do. Here's the cake. We're gonna put it in the fridge, and then we'll decorate it. Still gonna think when I'm gonna decorate it, but I already have idea how I'm gonna do it. Okay. I was able to finish decorating my cake. For some reason, I thought I pressed the record button on my phone, but it did not record properly, so I don't have the records when I'm decorating the cake. But anyway, you can see the cake is already done. So this is the finished product of my birthday chocolate cake. I hope you like it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your day. Bye for now.